Welcome back, everyone. My name is Mr. 4K. Some of you might know me as Mr. 4K or Mr. 4K Upscaler. Anyway, on this video, we're going to talk about, I guess, the long-awaited video, in my opinion, regarding the PlayStation VR 2 and the Quest. These two. This is a Quest 3, and this is a PlayStation VR 2, so I'm going to try to talk about the difference between the two. I'm going to try to not get into too much about technical specs. Okay, this is not going to be your tech spec type of a video. This is going to be mainly my honest opinion on both of these headsets, because I do have both of them, and you're going to hear my personal subjective opinion on both of them. So let's first start with the PlayStation VR 2. All right, because I know that's the everybody wants to hear about this one. PlayStation VR 2, it's an amazing tech. So I just want to get that out of the way for those of you who are not familiar. It's an amazing tech. What's built inside this headset, it's pretty remarkable. The design and the comfort and everything, it's really good. And it has OLED panel built inside with 120 hertz refresh rate, 110 field of view, beautiful HDR with an OLED screen, with a 4K resolution. Not a native 4K, but close to 4K. And it looks great. When you play Gran Turismo 7, you feel like you're really there driving a car. So it has a great tech built inside. Okay, so you're going to say, well, then what's the problem, Mr. 4K? If it has a great tech built inside, what is the problem? Well, the problem is the competition. All right? You got this bad boy over here, this competitor. You got Quest 3. Now, Quest 3 has a slightly higher resolution. Not that it matters, a slightly higher resolution. It's a built-in side processor and GPU. It doesn't use the OLED. It has no OLED built inside. It has LCD, LED built inside. 120 hertz, 110 field of view. However, what's so great about this headset is you are not required to be tethered to any PC or any device. This is a standalone VR built-in hardware device. This, it's not. This has technology built inside to take the advantage of PlayStation 5 hardware, but it's not a standalone device. So basically what I'm trying to say, when you purchase this PlayStation VR 2, if you don't have a PlayStation 5, it's obsolete. You cannot use it. This right here, you don't need to have any kind of device. You don't need to have a PC. This is a standalone VR headset that works on its own. It has its own operating system. It has its own GPU, CPU, memory RAM, SSD, memory, all that stuff. And it has a lot of cool technology inside that you can only do with the Quest 3 currently. While this one over here has the cool technology built inside, but you're limited on what you can do. And that creates the problem. And they're both priced at the same price, you know. This is $550, this is almost same price, $550, and this is $500. So this is $550 plus tax, and you're looking at like close to $600, and you need to have a $400 PlayStation 5 digital, if you can find one for $400, or you might have to go with the PlayStation 5 Slim, which is $500. So you're looking for $1,000 just to get this to work. So that's a $1,000 just to get the PlayStation VR 2 experience. This here, it's only $500, You get one game free included, and you have unlimited experience. You're not locked in by any kind of limitations. You don't have to be tethered to a PC, although that's optional. You can be tethered if you wanted to, but it's optional. It's not mandatory. So, for the price of PlayStation VR 2, you can have two of these. Two of these Oculus Quest 3s. One for you, one for your partner, one for you, one for your brother, sister, whoever. And you're not required to have any kind of a high-end PC or be tethered to any kind of a device. While on this one over here, you have to be tethered. And if you want you and your brother to have PSVR 2 together, you're looking at $2,000. Um, and I think that's where it creates the problem. The price point's too high. Limitations on this headset also creates another problem. Lack of the studios and developers and publishers coming on board to support this creates a problem. And you're going to say, well, why is it that there's a difficulty to get any developers out there, top-notch developers or publishers, to come in and to support this? Well, the problem is this. Again, MetaQuest 3. Why would a developer go to Sony PlayStation VR 2 platform that's barely noticeable compared to this juggernaut of Facebook MetaQuest that has a huge platform? Millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of people are on this platform. Versus this, let's say 50,000. That's peanuts, my friend. And how many of them are really active? Let's say 50,000. You got 50,000 active users. I know they sold 600,000 headsets, but how many of them have they really kept the headset? How many of them have they really not, refunded, returned it? How many of them do you think did not switch to this? Okay, because these numbers are old numbers. They stay in from February, March, April. You don't know how many people are actually using this device. It might be just sitting there collecting dust, and they're using this. And I guarantee you the majority is using the Oculus Quest, because I have Oculus Quest 3. I've been on the Oculus Quest 3. I've seen how many people are on that platform, and I know where people are spending most of the time. While this, not that many. But why? Again, here's the biggest problem. It's limitations. Again, this is a great piece of tech hardware. All right? Has a cool stuff built inside of it. Even has a haptic feedback, has a spatial 3D audio. Like I said, has an OLED screen, 120 hertz. Even has this technology called a foveated view, where you keep the frame rates higher and focus the resolution on what you're only looking at with a higher frame rate and higher refresh rate. Has a lot of cool tech. But what's the point of having all that cool tech if you are limited? Limitation means you don't have that many applications. You don't have that many options for people to choose. You have some cool games like Gran Turismo 7 and Resident Evil Village and Resident Evil 4. And you've got Kayak, Mirage, which is a pretty cool experience, but it's like a tech demo experience. You have that Horizon Mountain game, The Call of the Mountain. It's more like a climbing game. It's kind of cool, but it gets boring pretty quickly. But where's all the other applications? Where's all the heavy hitters? Where's the big screen VR? Where's like a PlayStation Home Hub where you can hang out and meet other PlayStation VR2 members? Where's all these other applications to support PlayStation VR2? Do you realize how many applications there are on this thing and versus what's over here? It's night and day. It's a night and day difference, ladies and gentlemen. How do I know that? Well, clearly you have eyeballs and clearly you can see that I have both of these headsets. I'm speaking from experience. I wouldn't be even making this video if I wasn't speaking from the experience. I have the experience. I have both of these headsets. So therefore, it gives me a leverage to talk about it. Now, you don't have to agree with me. You can disagree with me. That's fine. But keep in mind, I'm unbiased because I have both of these. If I was just some kind of a Facebook MetaQuest fanboy, well, then I would just stick to this and would never bother trying this. But that's not the case because I do try a lot of things. I'm all about variety and I have tried it. So that gives me the leverage to talk about it. For those of you who just jump into this channel and it's your first time watching this channel, so that way you have better understanding before you jump into a judgment, which I know a lot of you do when you write down on the comment section. But keep this in mind, this is coming from a guy who already has tried both of these headsets. Now, did I have a good experience with this, with the PlayStation VR2? Of course, I did. I enjoyed Gran Turismo 7. I enjoyed Resident Evil Village. I enjoyed Firewall Ultra. However, speaking of Firewall Ultra, which is a tactical squad-based teamwork type of a game, kind of like a Rainbow Six, the studio, the First Contact studio, it's shutting down. And this is a major first-party Sony's PlayStation VR studio since 2016. And they're shutting down. Why are they shutting down? What happened? They just released a game that we've been waiting for a long time. And the studio is shutting down. That right there, it's a red flag. That right there shows to me that we got a problem here. That shows to me that Sony is not being honest with us. That shows to me that it's not looking good for PlayStation VR 2. Now, I don't want this to fail. I love PlayStation VR. I have the original. I use the original. I'm still using the original. But there's a lot of stuff missing here. There's a lot of missed opportunity. How come there's no backward compatibility with your PlayStation VR 1 games? They couldn't even bring that. You would think that they would allow a backward compatibility with the original PlayStation VR 1 games. That would have added to the value of this $550, $600 headset. But so you got to ask yourself a question. Okay, what value am I getting with this headset? Okay, if you're a hardcore Gran Turismo fan and that's all you do, it's play Gran Turismo, then by all means, I think you're going to be okay with this. But we're talking about a special interest minority. Okay? When it comes to business, when it comes to sales, we have to look at it at majority, the mainstream. How do you convince the mainstream to buy this versus this? How do you do that? Well, that's going to be very difficult, my friends, to convince somebody to purchase this that's more expensive and that it requires a PlayStation 5 console that requires you to pay $1,000 plus tax just to experience this limited VR experience. Versus this over here, only $500. It comes with a free game, and you get unlimited experience, variety of different ranges of experiences, and you're not mandatory to be tethered to any device. You don't have to be tethered to your PC, that's optional. You don't have to be tethered to nothing. This is standalone. You can take this to Alaska. If the batteries are charged, you're good to go. And you can enjoy your experiences. Middle of nowhere. Because this is a standalone device. And it's cheaper. It's a $50 cheaper. And it's standalone. And it has more features. Has more publishers. More developers. More freedoms. It has zero limitations on what you can do. While this thing over here has tons of limitations. It's like Apple going through the iTunes or to the iTunes store. Everything has to be authorized through PlayStation. They don't even have ability to read the chat while you're live streaming. They couldn't even get that feature in. I mean, just think about that. And I've been actually asking about this for almost the entire year. I've been saying, well, why can't we have ability to read the chat when you are live streaming so you can see what people are saying? Because people want to interact with you when you are live streaming. I get that. I understand that. But why haven't they included that feature with this? They couldn't even do that. And what's the future looking like with PlayStation VR 2? What's 2024 looking like with PlayStation VR 2? There's still some games coming out, but we don't know how successful those games are going to be. They're still to be announced. We don't know the official release date. We don't know what's going to happen. There's so much uncertainty, okay? You got to remember that. There's no, written in stone guarantee. But it's right now, currently, it's not looking good for PlayStation VR 2. And it's not just me saying this. There's a lot of people saying the same thing. It's not looking good. Especially with First Contact Studio shutting down. And this is a Sony studio. That's not good. I mean, you just released the game and you're shutting down already. It's not good. That sends bad vibes, bad signals. That sends a red flag all over the place for PlayStation VR 2. And where's the commercials? Where's the campaign? Where's the holiday commercials for PlayStation VR 2? I have yet to see one. Where's like a Resident Evil 4 bundle or something? Dude, there's nothing. Where's Firewall Ultra bundle? There's nothing. There's absolutely no commercials. Nothing. You barely see any commercials. How about the Quest? Truckload of commercials for Oculus Quest. So, look, I'm not here trying to tell you, go buy this, go buy that. Go with this, go with that. I'm not here to tell you what to do with your money. I'm just here to give you my honest experience. And I know this video is long. It's about 20 minutes. But I don't know how to do this video any shorter because I do have to get certain things out of my chest so that way you have better perspective and understanding on why I think that this is the better choice. But I'm not going to tell you to buy it, but I know that it's a better choice because I have both of these headsets. Okay? Keep that in mind. I have both of these headsets, and I can tell you that this right here, it's a better choice than this right here because I have both of these headsets. This is a limited experience. Sure, it has some cool stuff like Gran Turismo 7, Resident Evil Village, sure, but it's a limited experience. And you're paying a top dollar, you're paying a high value top dollar $1,000 just to get your feet wet, to get started with something that's a limited experience as an accessory. So you paying a $1,000 for an accessory just to get your feet wet, to experience VR on a console with a limited experience. Versus over here, you're paying a $500 and you get a huge, wide range of experiences, from Horizon World to VR chat, big screen VR. The list goes on and on and on and on and on and on. Especially the worlds that people are making and all the tons of applications. Tons. YouTube VR. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Netflix, Amazon Prime VR. I mean, I can spend days and days just talking about what's included in here. Okay? And not to mention the amount of video games and applications. Oh, God. We could spend days talking about why this is better. So you have this Titan right here that it's a standalone VR headset, and it doesn't require to be tethered to anything, and it's cheaper than the PlayStation VR 2. So this is a win-win right here. I mean, this right here, if you're gonna like ask me, I say yeah, go with this. You know, PlayStation on the other hand, it's a great design, it's a great tech. It's beautifully designed, it's beautiful tech built inside, and I said that, and I'll keep saying that. But what's the problem? I mean, what's the point? What's the point? And this is my message to you, Sony. Sony, what is the point of creating this great tech if you have limited experience? That to me sounds like a missed opportunity, Sony. To have such a cool tech, to invest all this money into such a cool tech, and yet you poorly execute on this platform, which is really a shame. And I hope that you guys can pull a rabbit out of the hat, make some magic happen going into 2024. But man, I don't know. Looking at First Contact Studio shutting down, not seeing that many great games coming out on the horizon, not seeing any kind of like big announcements or any kind of cool features with updates, that shows me that this is just a missed opportunity. Sadly, a missed opportunity. So what does this mean? Well, I'm still using it. I'm still playing, Gran Turismo. I could play Gran Turismo on this forever, and I will play Gran Turismo 7 on this forever. So for me, it's good. But for those of you who are trying to jump into a VR, this is, oh man, easily recommended choice. Easily recommended choice. And it's not just me saying this. You can go ahead and do your own research, and you'll see a lot of people say the same thing. So anyway, this video is 23 minutes, close to 24 minutes. I don't want to butcher this video any longer than it needs to be. You can talk to me in a live stream, ask me more questions, or you can ask me questions down below. Just keep in mind, these are my opinions because I have both of these headsets. I'm not new to VR. I've been using VR for 12 years. Okay, I got a bunch of VR headsets, total of 12 VR headsets. So I'm very familiar with the VR. And I'm just here giving you my honest opinion. That's all. It's up to you. Whichever decisions you make, hey, if you're happy with the PlayStation VR 2, good for you. That's all that matters. My opinion shouldn't really bother you. If you're happy with the Quest 3, hey, that's all that matters. So, but for those of you who want to know what my opinion is coming from this geezer who has both of these headsets and spend a lot of time playing both of these headsets, well, there you have it. That's my experience within this 24-minute video. Thank you for watching. Happy New Year. Happy holidays. Stay safe. And I'll see you on the live stream. Take care.